David's Flight Through the Wilderness. A cinematic biblical epic, condensed edition. The spear struck the wall with a crack that tore through the palace like thunder trapped in stone. Dust drifted, torches flickered, and David, warrior, shepherd, giant slayer, didn't waste a heartbeat admiring the scar left behind. He bolted. The king's rage echoed down the hall like a wounded animal hunting whatever had hurt it. The night air hit him cold as a blade. Jerusalem slept beneath a dome of stars, unaware that its most celebrated hero had just dodged death by inches. David slipped into an alley, pulling his cloak tight, breath sharp with the taste of iron and fear. Behind him, Saul's shouting rolled through the stone corridors. The king wasn't confused. He wasn't startled. He wanted David dead. Down at the city's edge, in the hush right before dawn, a lone figure waited. Jonathan stepped from the shadows, his face lit only by the pale wash of moonlight. The two men clasped forearms, warriors sharing the kind of silence only brothers understand. "My father has lost himself," Jonathan said. "Your name is the spark he cannot put out." "I have done nothing to him," David answered, voice tight. "You don't have to. Some storms begin without wind." Jonathan pressed a travel bundle into David's hands. Bread, water, a cloak stitched with Benjamin's colors. "Go. Live. The Lord isn't finished with you." Neither man lingered. They knew farewells that stretched too long turn into anchors. With a final grip, Jonathan pulled away, and David stepped into the wilderness. The land opened before him. Jagged hills, broken ridges, ravines carved by ancient floods. The wilderness doesn't coddle anyone, and it didn't start with David. He walked under a moon half hidden by clouds, the earth whispering underfoot with the hiss of sand and dry grass. Days blurred. Hunger gnawed. Sleep came in ragged scraps. Patrols searched for him, their torches passing across the hills like wandering stars. David moved with a shepherd's instinct, never twice through the same path, always listening for the shift in wind that meant danger. He reached knob-worn thin. The sanctuary glowed with warm lamplight, a mercy in a world quickly turning cold. Ahimelech, the high priest, greeted him with concern written plain across his face. "You come alone," the priest said. David forced steady breath. "The king sent me on urgent business. I left too quickly for supplies." Ahimelech knew better, but he didn't press. He placed holy bread in David's hands, then brought out Goliath's sword, wrapped in cloth, gleaming like sunlight caught in iron. "There is none like it," David whispered. "Then take it," Ahimelech answered. "The Lord walks with you." But someone else had been watching. Doeg the Edomite stood near the courtyard, his eyes sharp as flint. David saw him too late, and unease followed him out of Nob like a long shadow. South he traveled, deeper into country where even shepherds rarely wandered. The earth looked ancient, scarred by time, its silence thick enough to swallow a man whole. David kept moving until he reached a cave yawning wide and dark, the cave of Adullam. Exhaustion pinned him the moment he entered. He slept with a warrior's tension, ready for the jolt of danger. It came with footsteps. Dozens. David rose, sword drawn. But what emerged from the shadows were not soldiers. They were men, hard-faced, weary, desperate. Men beaten down by debt, grief, injustice. And behind them came David's brothers. "We heard," his eldest brother said. David looked at them, rough hands, hollow eyes, strength carved from struggle. Not an army, not yet, but something real. "If you stay with me," David said, "you stay as brothers." They agreed without ceremony. The wilderness doesn't waste breath on speeches. Word spread that David had gathered a band of followers. The news pierced Saul's mind like hot iron. Fury twisted into paranoia, paranoia into violence. When he learned the priests of Nob had helped David, he lashed out. His soldiers refused to harm the priests, but Doeg stepped forward willingly. The sanctuary burned. Blood stained holy ground. Only one man escaped, Abiathar, son of Ahimelech. He found David trembling with horror. "I am responsible for this," David said, grief carving deep lines into his face. "Stay with me. You'll be safe now." And David meant it. Every step through the wilderness after that carried the weight of those lost in Nob. David's band grew into a disciplined company, moving through forests of Hereth, slipping across the escarpments of Ziph, hiding in the twisted shadows of the Judean cliffs. They learned the art of silence. They learned patience. They learned how to read the land like scripture. Saul hunted them with the fury of a king who feared his own throne more than his enemies. Then came Engedi, steep cliffs, hidden springs, caves honeycombing the rock like the chambers of a giant skull. Saul entered one of those caves alone, unaware that David and his men crouched deeper inside. Whispers rose around David. "This is your chance." In the chase, David moved forward, quiet as a falling petal. Goliath's sword hung at his side, but he did not draw it. Instead, he lifted a small knife and cut a single corner from Saul's robe. Even that rattled his conscience. He felt the rebuke in his chest like a blow. When Saul stepped outside, David followed. "My lord the king," he called. Saul turned, stunned. David lifted the torn cloth. "I could have killed you. I did not. I will not raise my hand against the one the Lord anointed. Why do you hunt me?" The canyon held its breath. Saul's face cracked, grief and madness battling behind his eyes. "You are more righteous than I. I know you will surely be king." Then he turned away, swallowed once again by the dark corridors of his own unraveling mind. David watched him leave, knowing the chase wasn't finished. But he also knew something unshakable. A kingdom built through patience stands firmer than a kingdom seized through blood. The wilderness had not broken him. It forged him. Historical note. This story follows the biblical accounts in 1 Samuel 18-24. David's escape from Saul, his meeting with Jonathan, the events at Nob, the massacre carried out by Doeg, the gathering at Adullam, the wilderness wanderings, and the encounter at Engedi are all recorded historical events in Scripture. Dialogue, emotional reflections, and sensory details are dramatized for storytelling, but the sequence and context remain accurate to the biblical record.